I'm holding in my hands a brand new foundation that claims to be full coverage and poreless that does not have alcohol at the top of the ingredient list. Hey guys, welcome back to another foundation review, first impressions, wear test of the brand new Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Foundation. I'm also going to kind of compare it to her Magic Foundation, which is one of my favorite foundations. I've been wearing the Airbrush Flawless Foundation now for 2 days. I have a good grasp on how I feel about this foundation, how it wears on my combination skin with an oily T-zone. I'm in my mid-40s. I do have sensitive skin as well, and I live in a super hot and humid environment. So I wanted to go ahead and give you my thoughts. I'm going to elaborate on those thoughts even further after I wear it a few more times in my monthly favorites video. So if you are not subscribed, be sure and subscribe because I give some product updates in that video. I know you guys like to see that. I'm going to jump on into the application, but first I'll go ahead and tell you this does retail for $44 for 1 ounce of product. There are 44 shades. I chose shade 6 neutral. I'll jump into that more at the end of the video. I love the bottle. I think it's beautiful. Just like her Magic Foundation was a really nice sturdy glass bottle. This is too, and I do love that it's a pump. So you're definitely getting nice quality packaging. When I first saw the photos of this, I thought it was just a round bottle from the front, but it is kind of oval shaped, which I think is pretty nifty. So let's go ahead and get into the application and my initial thoughts of it, and then we'll get into the wear and the photos and all that good stuff. All right, I am going to apply this new Airbrush Flawless Finish Foundation with a sponge on this side of my face and with a foundation brush on this side. This is the BK Beauty number 101 foundation brush. So yesterday when I wore this, I did apply it with just a sponge, and I applied it to the back of my hand and dipped my sponge in it. I always do that because sometimes you just need a minimal amount of foundation. If you dot it all over your face, you sometimes end up with way too much, and we don't want to do that. I did find I did not need that much foundation to get really nice coverage. You can see with just that little bit, we're already getting really, really great coverage here. And this is another reason why I like using natural light, because you can really see, I hope you can see the kind of coverage that we're getting, because you may not want just full coverage, you may want medium full coverage, and that's kind of what we're getting here. Like I have this little red spot right here, it's really hard to cover, and this is covering it really well. I'm going to show you how much is left on the back of my hand when I'm done covering this side of my face. I was actually really shocked at how little I needed to get great coverage. So I've already got really great pores going on here and nice coverage, almost full coverage, but not quite. It evened out the redness and everything. I mean, look at the difference. I still have this much on the back of my hand. That is still almost a full pump left on the back of my hand. That is how little foundation you need to even out your skin that much. So let's do the same thing with the brush on the other side. So I'm just going to dip the brush and just get a teeny tiny amount on that brush. Look at how much is going on from just that amount. That's probably too much. I'm going to take some onto the forehead. I find that it's not a super wet formula, but it blends out really easily. It doesn't set too quickly for you to blend it out. It's applying really nicely with the brush. I'm surprised. It may be the brush, but I really like the way this is applying with the brush. And I don't usually say that about full coverage foundations and brushes, because I either get too full coverage or I just find it streaky, or it emphasizes things going on my forehead that I don't like it looks patchy or dry or something, and this looks good. And I don't take my foundation underneath my eyes. I'm going to go under there just with concealer. Okay, so that's what we have. And I still have, I would say, 2/3 of a pump left on my hand. I'm going to layer this a little bit. So I'm just tapping my fingers where I just kind of want to see if I can cover up those sunspots to see how full coverage I can get it. It's not covering them up completely. I'm happy with it. I'm going to zoom you in. Keep in mind I don't have concealer under my eyes, but look at how good this looks on the pores. It doesn't feel tacky. It sets down well. It looks good. It covers well. Okay, so I'm gonna finish my makeup. I'm gonna come back here, show you what it looks like. Here we are, makeup finished. Very casual, very easy, even though it's full coverage. I'm gonna be back in a couple of hours to give you my summary, talk about how it wore yesterday and how it compares to the Magic foundation. I'm gonna pop in a few pictures from yesterday. We'll talk about flash photography and all that good stuff in my summary in a second. So I gave you my thoughts during the application of how I just felt it initially applied and everything else. I do think that the shade is a really nice match for me. Maybe in the dead of winter, it might be a little bit deep, or I can just bring it down to my neck. The description of 6 Neutral is golden olive for medium skin with neutral undertones. So there is some olive in this foundation, which I can definitely tell it does pull a little bit olivey, but I didn't really feel like 6 Warm really fit. It was light beige for medium skin with warm undertones. And when I looked at the swatches, it seemed like it was quite a bit lighter than this shade. And the next shade deeper was 7 Neutral, and it seemed a little bit deeper. So I wasn't quite sure which shade to get. This seemed like it might fit the best. I'm not sure if you can tell from the lighting in here. I'm a little bit overcast. So if you are similar to me in shades, you may want to try this shade or one of the shades on either side of it. And you can see a more comprehensive list of my shade matches in the link in my description box down below. I keep one for you as I try new foundation shades. I love everything about how this applied to the skin. I love how it applied with the foundation brush. Like I said, I'm not sure if it's because of the specific foundation brush I use, because the BK Beauty foundation brush applies foundation just beautifully. But I do think when you apply this foundation, less is more. I needed much less than probably half a pump to get really nice full coverage. I loved the result that I got when I went in kind of sparingly and just added more where I needed it. I think if you're someone who really likes a good skin look, you really want your pores refined, you want your redness evened out and your imperfections covered, you don't want to have to go back in with a lot of concealer, you want full coverage but without having a full coverage makeup look, I think you're really going to like this foundation. I'm not sure if super dry skin is going to have an issue blending this out or not. It might be worth getting a sample if that's your skin type, but I think if you have oily, normal combination skin, this would be a foundation worth looking into for sure. Now during the day, I do get kind of satiny looking, but it's after probably 5 hours. And keep in mind the environment that I live in. I live in a super hot and humid climate, and I do have an oily T-zone. So you can even see right now after 7 hours of wear, I am getting a little bit dewy in these areas, the typical places. I'll zoom you in a little bit. So even though I'm getting a little bit dewy, I guess that's the right word, I don't think it's emphasizing anything bad on my face. And I forgot to tell you up front that I am using no ring light. This is all natural window lighting that you're getting right now. So any shadows, that's just because of the natural lighting and things that are going on in my room. I just really wanted you to see what this looks like with natural elements. I'm going to pop a couple of pictures in here from yesterday so that you can see with my iPhone what it looked like right after I applied it and later on during the day, and I just think it looked absolutely beautiful. I did use my Hourglass primer yesterday. Today I have on my Touch in Sol No Poreblem primer. I usually do wear a primer, especially this time of year, but in the fall and winter it would be worth investigating not wearing a primer with this foundation because it does set down so well. If you have drier skin or more normal skin, or maybe you live in a different environment, you might be able to get away with not wearing a primer or possibly not setting with powder. Yesterday I set it with my Lancome Long Time No Shine powder. Today I set it with my Nikkia Joy powder, and I think both worked really well. I kind of like the way this finish is looking. It's not too matte for me, but it's not too dewy either. I did blot once around the 5-hour mark. That's all I've needed so far. This foundation is supposed to stay all day and give you a weightless, full coverage formula with a natural matte finish. And I would agree with that. I don't think it looks too matte, and it does look really natural on the skin, and that is what I've liked about this foundation so far. It says it's a hybrid magic skincare foundation for every occasion. It contains Charlotte's magic matrix of ingredients. It's got groundbreaking magic Replexium to significantly reduce the appearance of wrinkles by up to 22% after 8 weeks of use. It's got Moss Cell Tech #1 to boost hydration by up to 216%. And Air Cool for an instant fresh feel on the skin. So she's got some ingredient things going on in here that are supposed to do really good things for the skin. That is one thing that I do enjoy about Charlotte's products, is that she not only thinks about how things look on the skin, but what they actually do for the skin as well. It does say to leave the foundation on your skin for 5 minutes to let the true color optimize, and I do think this does go on a little lighter than how it ends up on the skin, and my lighting is getting really yellow. I think I fixed the lighting a little bit. That's the hazard of working with natural light, is that you really have to work with the elements a little bit. So this is supposed to be sweat proof, humidity proof, waterproof, and transfer resistant. I can totally speak to that today. We've been outside a little bit, walking around. It is very humid outside. I went to PT today where I laid on a table with my face on the table. None of it came off. I did sweat a little bit there too, and I did bead up a little on my face, and I feel like my makeup looks really good still. All of my makeup is still on my face. I have really been impressed with this both days that I have worn it. I do like that you have both options. If you want to go slightly more matte and super long wear, you have an option now from Charlotte Tilbury. And if you want a matte radiant look, I guess that's how I would describe this, and a little less coverage, you have the Magic Foundation. You really have two beautiful foundations to choose from here. For 2 levels of coverage, you have medium full or full coverage and more medium. You can even get light medium coverage from the Magic Foundation. Both are beautiful finishes. This is not quite natural matte, but not quite totally radiant finish either. It's just got a luminosity that doesn't make oily skin look greasy. It's really just beautiful. And then you've got this matte foundation that's a natural matte that's just not going to make you look too matte, and yet when shine does break through, it's not going to make you look greasy. I just think this is such a great duo. I think the Airbrush Flawless Finish is absolutely beautiful, and I was not prepared to really like it as much as I do, especially given how much I like the Magic Foundation. It looks gorgeous in flash photography. I was prepared to get flashback. I just thought there was going to be something that was going to make me not like this foundation or bring it down a notch for me, and there really isn't. Love this foundation. Right now, this is ranking up there for me as far as full coverage, natural matte, beautiful foundations with my Too Faced Peach Perfect, my Estee Lauder Double Wear, all of those beautiful foundations. This is ranking up there for me. So stay tuned for my monthly favorites video to get my full perspective with different primers and powders and all of that. But I wanted to go ahead and get you my initial impressions because I know a lot of you have been asking me about it. So that's what I think right now. I hope this was helpful. Let me know below if you're planning on trying it or if you're just gonna stick with this one or neither. If you're not subscribed to my channel, hit that subscribe button, become part of the family. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.